G'day and welcome to another episode of Juzzy D's RC Adventures. Today I'm going to be talking to you about this here. This is my new HobbyKing built quadcopter. This has no particular model name. This is a bit of a do-it-yourself sort of thing. So today we'll go through how it flies. I'll talk to you about what some of its characteristics are like, what it was built to behave like, how it does actually fly in the real world. I've only done some small testing at this stage. I'll also tell you a little bit about the components, what's gone into this, how to make it if you want to make one yourself. I'll also talk to you a little bit about the assembly, so if you do decide to go down the path of making one of these, you have an idea of where to go. And I will give you some links and some tips on the setup of the flight control board itself. The flight control board setup, there's already some excellent videos out there, so I'm not going to go over that again. Instead, if you'd like to do that, down here in the description below, I'll give you a link to a really great video from a really knowledgeable person on the subject, and they'll give you everything you need to know on how to set it up once you got everything put together. So a little bit about the specs of what I've built here. It's based on the HobbyKing X666 aluminium quad frame. It's called as such because it's 666 millimeters from end to end, so from propeller to propeller. Quite a big quadcopter. As you can see, I've got my handy UFO MX400 back here. So when we compare the MX400 compared to this, not much of a comparison at all. The new HobbyKing quad here is absolutely huge. Built it big because I'm looking to make a video platform, so I've, as I said, gone for the quite large frame. The props on here, APC slow-fire props, 11 by 4.7. I actually intend to change these out and put some 12 by 4.7 on. I was a little bit worried when I ordered the frame because I wasn't exactly sure how things would fit and what it would look like here, whether I'd have the room for the bigger 12-inch props, but with the calculations I've done, 12-inch props will fly a lot better and increase the payload significantly without increasing the battery drain too much at all. Okay, so the parts, everything you see here comes from HobbyKing except for the receiver. The receiver came from HeliPal. Because I'm still using the Devo remote that came with the UFO MX400. So essentially there's not a whole lot to this. You've got 4 electronic speed controllers. I've gone with the Turnigy Basic. The popular choice when making a quadcopter is the Turnigy Plush. The Plush ESCs weren't in stock at the time. If I had have been able to get them, I would have. They're basically a more fully featured ESC for almost exactly the same price. But as I said, they were out of stock, so I decided to just go with the basics, which do everything I need. As I said, APC slow fire props, you're going to need 2 pusher, 2 normal props. So again, they're from HobbyKing. Green one designates the front of the quad. So at this stage I'm running in a plus configuration. The reason for the plus configuration, I've gone with the HobbyKing flight control board. They're only $20, one of the cheapest ways to build a quadcopter out there. So for $20 you get all your gyros and everything you need to connect straight to your ESCs and straight to your receiver. So underneath that I've got the HobbyKing power distribution board. I just find it's a really neat way to plug the ESCs into the battery without having to go through all sorts of splicing and dodgy wiring. For the sake of $3, it's the exact same size as the HobbyKing flight control board, so it's just a matter of using some nylon steppers to take the vibration out, mount your power distribution board, another nylon stepper up, make sure you get the bigger ones so that they don't short anything out on the bottom there, and then screw your flight control board down onto that. The flight control board itself has a couple of little arrows that have to go towards the front of the quad. Now looking at this, you say, well, what if I want to put it in X configuration? If I want to put it into an X configuration, very easy to do. All I do is rotate this around. the HobbyKing frame actually has slots all the way around so that you can actually mount this on a 45-degree angle to the shape of the board that it sits on. So HobbyKing have really thought that through. Component wise, as I said, running through this, it's actually quite a basic setup. I've got 4 Turnigy motors. These are a fairly low kV because I wanted to use the bigger props to make it very stable for that aerial video. So they're 2836 750 kV motors with, as I said, the 11 by 4.7 slow fly props, intending to increase to 12, 25 amp Turnigy basic ESCs. So the speed controllers weren't too expensive, and then the 2 boards and the frame. Other little things you'll need some male-to-male servo leads, you'll need some cable ties, you'll need some wires, because essentially the wires that come with the ESCs themselves aren't actually long enough to reach all the way to the motor, so you'll need to do some splicing there. So you need to lengthen them, and you'll also need to put some connectors on. The motors came with bullet connectors already soldered on. The ESC on the other hand didn't, so you'll have to do some soldering, which of course means you'll need some heat shrink as well to stop any shorts that you might have. All up, construction took me about a day. The gyro configuration was pretty easy. As I said, I just followed the link, which you'll find in the below section here. It was very straightforward. Information exactly as you found it there, and from what I can tell, this actually flies a hell of a lot better than my MX400. My MX400 I found to be quite twitchy and quite difficult to fly. This one here on exactly the same transmitter settings as the MX400, I'm finding to be absolutely solid as a rock. It does push a hell of a lot of air around though, so probably not recommended for inside. It's just a little bit too big for that. So I'll cut away to some flight footage. You can have a look at it. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you've got any questions and would like any advice on how to go about building one of these yourself. So that's the quad in action. Now you've seen it, thank you very much for watching. As always, ask any questions you'd like. I'm always happy to help, and feel free to subscribe.